Action Shelf. The Action Shelf. The Action Shelf. The Action Shelf.
Welcome to The Action Shelf, the podcast celebrates the glory of B-action movies. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Oh, Listman, we continue to roll through Adkins April, a celebration of the man, the myth, the legend that is Scott Adkins.
Yes, and this is early on. This movie that we're talking about today is a little bit earlier than the movies we've been watching.
Absolutely. We're back to 2009. Scott Adkins in, I mean, Ninja. What more do you need to know?
Ninja.
The movie should have just been called Ninja. What more do you need to know?
Yeah, that's true. That'd be actually a great subtitle, I think.
Because it's like, if you're going to put on Ninja, you know what you're looking for, right? Like, you're not going to be like...
There's not other movies just called Ninja, are there? Like,
I don't think so.
This isn't the first one? There's no way 2009 was the first time a movie called Ninja.
I mean, I do think it's interesting that it's got to be, right? Let's just see. But, like... the thing about it is, all the ninja movies, I loved from like canon and stuff, were always like, Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja. I'm not seeing other movies called just Ninja. Do you think that was what's happened here? They go, nobody's ever just called the thing Ninja. What if we did? So
it's like the Plane sort of scenario where they just named a movie Plane.
I think that's kind of what it is, where they're like, I think we can just call this Ninja. This is crazy, because even like a movie, we definitely saw this in the theater together, right? Ninja Assassin, remember that movie?
That sounds familiar.
That was around this same time, and is kind of the bigger budget version of this a little bit. I feel like Ninja Assassin. That movie's crazy and awesome and just absolutely ridiculous.
Remember who's in that.
I don't remember if. Is anyone? I'm trying to remember if there were any like even known actors in it.
Rick Yoon was in it.
Oh, Rick Yoon from Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Oh, Sung Kang, Han himself is in it, but they're not like the lead. Naomi Harris, who is Moneypenny in the Daniel Craig movie, she's like the female lead. Okay, but this guy who's Ji-hoon Jung, don't know him. Oh, Sho Kosugi is in it. Once again, there's people we know in it. But I feel like
I have to watch.
Yeah,
I don't remember it super well, so we should maybe.
Yeah, let's watch Ninjas. It's James McTeague, who also directed V for Vendetta.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
I remember really enjoying it, but I don't think I've seen it since theaters. So yeah, we'll get that on the list there. But yeah, this is kind of early, as you're talking about. This is kind of early for Scott Adkins, certainly Scott Adkins as a lead, by God. I mean, really, he had not done, because you look at his IMDb up to this point, and he's doing like, he's, generic bad guy agent in Bourne Ultimatum and stuff like that, right? Like prior to this. Or he'd done some British soap operas. I mean, they all got to start there. Or he's just like a fighter in movies like The Medallion or Unleashed. I think at this point, and this is also... I'm
just seeing the names. Henchman, swimming pool fighter.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing where it's just like that guy, Lee's bodyguard. He did another Jackie Chan movie, The Accidental Spy, where he's Lee's bodyguard. He's in. I don't know if I ever. Here's the thing with some of these. I'm like, did I see Black Mask 2? I saw Black Mask. I don't know that I ever saw Black Mask 2.
I don't think I.
City of
Mask. It saw Black Mask 2.
It doesn't have Jet Li, which is a huge step down from Black Mask 1, and I don't know Andy Owen.
Was Black Mask was Jet Li? For some reason I thought that was Donnie Yen.
That's Legend of the Fist, but similar.
That's what it was.
Also, he wears a black mask in it. They have very similar outfits.
That's why I thought it was that.
Legend of the Fist is also, but also good. Yeah,
good, yeah.
yeah. But Black Mass 2 looks like it was made in America, and I'm not sure I'm as into that as I was into. I love the Jet Li Black Mask. So anyway, yeah, this is kind of early. And also this comes out in 2009, the same year he does the doubling for the weapon 11 in X-Men Origins Wolverine, an absolutely horrible movie. But
yes,
he
terrible.
is the fight double for Ryan Reynolds in that at the end of the movie.
Yeah, the monster at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, boy, what a disaster.
Boy, we saw. Speaking of movies, we saw in
Jesus
theaters.
Christ.
We definitely watched that in theaters.
Of course,
that movie took a while to process because it was just.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, but like,
it was bad.
Yeah, we had to see it though. I mean, like Wolverine's one of my favorite characters in anything, and watching this movie, I was thinking about like I was just basically like what's the word I'm looking for? Like push towards these ninja things because of all the stuff I consumed. There's ninjas in Wolverine. There's ninjas in Daredevil, G.I. Joe, Batman. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like
Of course.
the era we grew up in, ninjas were just the thing that like late 80s into early 90s. The Ninja Turtles, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. So the push for like ninja content in the 80s, there was definitely some layover for the 90s as well.
Yeah, because
I don't know when ninjas stopped being as in everything.
It's somewhere in the mid 90s, but we caught just the tail end of that, and ever since have just been like, God, you show me a ninja movie, even if it looks like shit. And this one is not amazing, but I'm still going like, oh, fucking ninjas are so awesome, though. Just there are parts of this movie that are just insanely awesome. While at the same time, this is coming off of Avengement and Accident Man. This is a way dumber movie.
This movie, by comparison, is so bad.
Yeah. Yes.
Compared to the other two, this movie's terrible. Just about every way. The action is still very good.
Oh yeah.
Scott has always been able to deliver good fight scenes in his movies. So
the fight scenes.
Everything else suffers, including Scott's performance, because he's doing like I think it's supposed to be an American accent.
Also,
here.
I'm pretty sure this whole movie is dubbed, right? Even though it's in English, I'm pretty sure this is all after the fact recording.
Yes.
So even though that is Scott's voice doing an American accent, it doesn't sound right. Like no one sounds right in this movie. No. I'm wondering if this is one of those movies, and this is like how Sergio Leone used to do it and stuff like that, and a lot of foreign stuff would do this, where they would just shoot the movie without sound and then dub it for every... And that's kind of my guess. I don't have that information, but that's my guess as to what's happened here, is they're just like, shoot it with no sound and then have everybody just record for whatever language it needs to be in, because everyone seems to be speaking English. Like the words match what they're saying, except for when the movie is actually telling you they're speaking Japanese, but everything is dubbed.
Yes, exactly.
Which is just weird to watch. It's weird to watch people dubbed with their own voices.
Yes. It always seems like a good idea so that you can mix the audio better later on, but boy, is it hard to match the lip movements.
It really is. And I mean, and I've heard so many actors talk about the hardest thing to do is when you go into those ADR sessions. That is so tough to go, how did I say that? With what inflection? With my mouth movement like that? It's
almost its own skill set.
It is.
It's something that a lot of people who do like dub for like anime and stuff like that have to get really good at. It's a very specific skill that most actors don't have.
And that's sort of the thing.
Why would they need it?
When I hear some actors, like, they'll go like, oh, that guy's really good at it. Like, he's the rare guy who's really good at it. I will also say, did you look up the director of this movie? This comes to us, Isaac Florentine, who comes to us from a lot of Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
A lot of Power Rangers on his directing, which I kind of follow. I mean, this is kind of an R-rated Power Rangers movie in some ways.
I mean, Power Rangers are like a superhero ninja team, essentially.
Right.
So,
yet another thing that basically engineered us to be. Dude, I watched a lot of Power Rangers in my day.
A lot of Power Rangers, yeah.
Yeah. It was all just we were just big into the whole gobbling up of American things gobbling up Asian martial arts. There's no question about that. I will say this guy's whole career though is basically action shelf material.
A lot of Scott Adkins things I'm seeing.
Directed a lot of stuff
good.
with Scott Adkins. Yeah, although I don't know if I think
Yeah.
I think I might have seen Close Range. Once again, who could ever tell? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going like I might have seen that.
This poster looks like 3 other Scott Adkins movies we've seen.
That's I think that's why I'm going. I'm just looking at the poster, going, did I see this, or did I see 2 other movies that look exactly the same? I don't know. And even like you read the plot description, it's like a rogue soldier turned outlaw is thrust into a fight with a dirty sheriff and a cartel. Still, that could be anything.
that could literally be anything, yeah.
I am kind of curious about his most recent movie, Seized, which is Scott Adkins and Mario Van Peebles, who we love.
Okay, yeah.
That could be a pairing we would enjoy, I think. But and he's currently in post-production on he's finished filming 2 movies that are in post-production, both total action shelf titles, Hellfire and Hounds of War.
Yes.
Yeah. So
neither of which have posters yet. So
no,
we don't fully know what to expect.
But I think I might be able to surmise what those posters might look like. At some point, we'll do The Shepherd, which is the one he did with Van Damme and Scott Adkins. So, so this guy, I gotta say though, I don't know that he's a good director. This movie really suffers from please stop moving that camera. My God.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Never ending.
People just can't help themselves. They're just like, we can't let it be static. That's boring. People will get bored. It's like you don't trust the audience is the problem.
You don't trust and it's
no faith in them.
It's this whole thing about, and it's always my point about, because I as much as we make fun of these movies on this show, I am always such a massive defender of the action genre and the artistry that goes into it. Because when you see people who really know how to do it, guys like Chad Stahelski, who directs the John Wick movies, or David Leitch, John Woo, Michael Bay. It is about, like, I can see where they're going, well, they're moving the camera less. Like, yeah, but they've really consciously thought about why. Yeah. It's not just, because, I mean, there's so many times in this movie where I'm like, why is the camera whooshing? And the camera is whooshing. I think there is an accompanying sound effect to every camera movement in this movie.
There is, every time. And also, anytime anybody moves and does anything, there's also a whooshing sound effect.
Yeah.
Which really dates it, I think.
It really dates it, and it really makes everything. This movie is a cartoon.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, this guy directed one of his early movies. This guy directed, I kind of want to watch just because it's called Desert Kickboxer.
That sounds great. I'll watch that.
And the poster is just a guy in kickboxing gear in the desert. So, I gotta say, the guy does not, he does not bury the lead on his movies.
No, good for him.
He also has directed such hits as High Voltage, Cold Harvest, Bridge of Dragons.
Ooh, wow.
Bridge of Dragons sounds pretty awesome. 1999. Nice. Ooh, that's Dolph. Of course it is. What? I don't even know why I had to look. If there's a movie called Bridge of Dragons, Dolph Lundgren's the star of it. That just happens.
I gotta cross that bridge of dragons.
That bridge may have a bunch of dragons on it, but don't worry, I'm getting across it. It's happening right now.
We'll cross that bridge.
Yeah. And then at a certain point, he's just making stuff. I mean, once again, at a certain point, it's just like Special Forces, Ninja, Assassin's Bullet. There is a sequel to this movie, by the way, 2013's Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear.
Is it also directed by Isaac Florentine?
It is indeed. Now, that one I'm curious about because it seems like Kane Kasugi is the bad guy. We like him. Son of Sho Kasugi.
Okay.
So if you're going to have him and Scott Adkins fight, I'm on board for that.
Yeah, so I was just about to ask, was this movie good enough to where you would be interested in watching the second one?
No. Well, here's the thing. No, in as much as I'm no, but yes, and as much as I'm always wanting to watch Scott Adkins fight anyone. But no, there is nothing about this character, this world, anything about this that makes me go, I would, unlike last week's movie where while we had issues with Accident Man, I do like that character, that world. I really want to see the second Accident Man.
There was some, it was like a comic book world. This is not even, I don't know what this is.
This is just
this movie is like every ninja movie stereotype that's ever existed in one film.
That's basically what I was gonna say. It's the most generic ninja plot, almost to the point where it's like, if you make a sequel, who cares? It doesn't matter. Like Casey Bauman is who Scott Adkins plays. He's not a character.
I didn't realize he had a last name. Honestly.
I don't actually know if he does. Other than I my guess is that's only like when they have the wanted poster. I bet it says that. But yeah, he might as well just be called American White Guy.
But John, he had a lot to work with. Remember that photo of his family that he looked at 3 times in the film? Like that's character development.
There's kind of a part of me that does like how much this movie just doesn't even try. I mean, like it's this movie runs 86 minutes. It's just like, you know what you're here for. We have the barest bones of character. Also, I'm not even sure that the second movie being a sequel matters, because I don't think any of the actors other than Scott Adkins even come back.
Yeah, I was just about to, because the villain does die. That's right. I was just trying to remember if anybody. But yeah, I don't think anybody.
No, but like
lives
the female lead isn't
love
the
interest.
No, I think,
but she doesn't come back in the sequel.
No, it doesn't seem like that. It just seems. I think he's just fine. I don't know. I'm just looking at this guy. Oh wait, maybe she does. Hold on, is that? Oh yeah, sorry, she does, but no one else. It's just those two. And honestly, yeah, because I mean, what is random cop who begrudgingly earns his respect going to be a character?
Why was that guy in this movie at all? Like they had so little interest in following up with that character at all to make him a person. Like they did not care. During the big end fight when the police are like, "This is the police," I'm like, "Get the cops out of this movie. This is a fucking cartoon. I don't want the NYPD being involved in this ninja duel in the streets. That's neither here nor there." Interesting. The 3 movies we've seen this month so far, this is the only movie where cops show up at any point, and this is maybe the silliest.
And that's the thing about that was something I think we talked about. Accident Man, I love that it's just like, no, it's just everyone's like an assassin, and it doesn't matter. Leave the cops out of this.
They just write that off, so they don't even have to worry about it,
and
so
that
they can just do their stupid action.
It's the thing I always think about with G.I. Joe, where I'm like, I don't want any real government organization to be involved in a G.I. Joe story. I want it to just exist in a cartoon world where the conflict on the planet is G.I. Joe versus Cobra. And that's the thing here, where it's like, I just want it to be, there's a bad ninja and a good ninja, and a hooded, cloaked cult.
Oh, right. There's so many things. Like, did that need to be in this movie at all?
They don't do anything with it, so
no. I mean, there's a cool fight scene in the cult headquarters.
Yeah, I mean,
the lake tag arena that they were filming in. But
the cult is basically here for that, right? It's so we can have like an army of bad guys for Scott to kick.
Yes,
and it was cool as fuck, man. That might be the best fight in the movie. It's either, I feel like the best fight.
I think it is.
It's that, or I also love the subway fight too.
Oh yeah.
But I think it is I think the best one is the arena in the whatever the cult is I think the best, but close second is that subway fight. The final duel is pretty cool, and I mean whenever the movie is just fighting, I'm like, yeah. But then also,
it works.
A part of my brain going, I don't care about anyone or anything beyond. I like Scott Adkins, the actor.
Yes, the person,
and he is the hero. They tell me.
Yes. Well, he was wearing white at the beginning of the movie, whereas the other guy was wearing.
I
I don't know if you picked up on this, John.
what?
But,
Oh my God, that's real
very
subtle.
deep character work. Yeah.
It's such close watching there, Lisbon. Good work. I didn't really.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
all that film school classes we took. I just know. White and black. Wow. No, the second I saw that, I'm just going like, oh come on, I mean, it does tell you immediately like this is the level we're at here, right? One guy is the good guy's in white and the bad guy's in black.
I mean, I think the real thing that tells you what you're in for is the title that comes up at the beginning of this movie, which is the shittiest gunmetal font I've ever seen in a movie. Like, it's so shitty. It looks like it was 2001 like iMovie like effects.
Yeah, it's
you know
just a default pre-programmed ninja.
Yes.
I mean
and the music also sounded like it was pre-programmed music stings.
Yes.
Like just put into the film.
Absolutely.
It was awful.
Yeah.
This movie looks cheap. This movie.
Oh, I have the
really
budget for
cheap.
you. What do you think this thing cost? Yeah.
$1.5 million.
You're gonna be so upset. It cost so much more than that. It cost $10 million. I'm not joking. This thing costs. I don't see where any of that got spent.
Where did it go? It's not. The CG is fucking dog shit.
Awful.
John, this
Awful.
is some of the worst CG I've seen.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's
horrible CG.
It's like neon when it's coming out of. It's like nighttime and it's glowing for some reason.
Yeah.
Or there's like a scene where there's like fog or smoke, but they very clearly just put the blood effects on top of the image.
This thing cost 5
over the
times what Avengement cost. And Avengement
That's
looks
crazy.
way better.
Way better.
That was a $2 million movie, and that movie looked great. Accident Man looked good too. Those look like good. Well, here's the thing: it really is. We were talking him up, and I think this week proves it even more. Jesse V. Johnson knows what he's doing with those movies.
He knows how to stretch a budget. He does know how to stretch a budget, and this movie really does highlight that fact. Because
this is an example of they do weirdly have a fair amount of money, but they're putting it into all the wrong things.
Like what? I don't even know what it could have been. Like,
yeah,
I don't know where that money could have gone. I have no idea. Was it building sets? It was just building all of the sets.
Maybe, yeah. I guess that laser tag arena cost a lot of money. I saw that and I was shocked when I was doing the prep for this. I was like, what? Really?
For the first time, I was like, you know what? I always like highball these guesses, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be as realistic as possible. I'm gonna say $1.5 million, and there's a chance it costs even less than that. And I am so wrong again.
What crime organization was laundering cash through this? Because seriously, that is
I don't know.
Absolute. Oh God, I can't believe that. Yeah, I think 1.5 million was a absolutely accurate guess to what it looked like. It may have cost 10 million, but it looks like it cost 1.5. So.
Yeah,
oof,
yeah.
Oof. What a yeah.
Oofa doofa.
Yeah, this movie. This movie is like what I imagine action shelf movies as. If I was to just like dream up what a straight to video movie, it looks exactly like this.
Yes, definitely. This is standard fare for us here. Still enjoyable in the sense that the fight scenes are good. But
that's the thing is it does deliver on. It does clear the bar of action. It's still better than a lot of the stuff.
Yes, because it's not boring like a lot of the other movies we watched.
No, if anything, actually, I think my big note on this one is maybe it could have slowed down and bothered to invest in any character at all.
Yes, I think so.
So all right, so yes, let's talk about Casey Bauman, who is an American orphan raised in a ninja dojo in Japan.
Yes,
so
this tracks.
Yes, I mean this is once again it's every ninja movie ever. It's Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Yeah, it is. I mean, Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, of course, because it was the 80s, also added the he's a Vietnam vet and trains in the dojo.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
Right, exactly.
And because I'm just watching. It is just at a certain point I'm going, this just is Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I mean, that's what we're watching.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's more than fine. But those actual cartoon characters of Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow have more character depth than these people.
Yes, definitely.
And so I also love that even the goddamn sensei, or what do they call him? The soke? The guy who's like master of the dojo, because he's getting on, and I think it's SOKE, soke.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I believe that
in IMDb they call him Sensei Takeda, but
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, he is their sensei, but he is the
Yes.
soke of the dojo or whatever. Like he is the the soke of the ninja clan, right? He is the guy. I can't remember what. I wish I
have no idea.
this fucking
I
thing.
have
And I also don't know how much any of this has anything to do with any real. I mean, ninja stuff. Oh yeah, so there it is. Soke is a Japanese term that means the head of the family.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, it's the of the ninja clan. He is the patriarch, and he is like, but I'm getting on in years, and I need to find a successor. And he's literally going, and it's either that guy or that guy.
That's all there is. Yeah.
And you've got
it's very King Lear,
Oh.
Honestly, it's very King Lear if you really think.
And
about
but he's even going like, and one guy's kind of violent and impulsive, and the other guy is, just going like, sort of like one guy's a bad guy and one guy's a good guy. I don't know. Hope no rivalry starts between these two, because of course you get the
definitely not.
If only they could learn from each other. Their
Yeah,
styles
yeah.
together would be. This is very Doctor Strange. The whole thing in Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange and Baron Mordo are both amazing sorcerers, and if they actually work together, they could be the best. But one is good and one is evil. So you hate
That's
to
the
see
way
it.
of things.
It's just
It's tragic, John.
it's
true.
super tragic. Once again, Doctor Strange, much more fucking character depth than anything going on here. Even if you go back to those '60s comics, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I just and of course there's a. Is there a rivalry? Is there a love triangle? Because you have the daughter of the sensei, right? Isn't that the
Yes.
Namiko,
She's the daughter of the sensei.
Namiko,
Yes.
who this actress does some cool fights, but just this is such a non-character, and she gets no opportunity ever to make her presence known in this movie.
Yeah. So it's hard to judge the performance.
I mean, her
one way or the other. I was just impressed with the choreography she was doing.
She does great with that, and I will say, like, all of her work is Japanese films except for this. She's in a movie called Alien vs. Ninja, though, that I now need to see.
I did think that a lot of her fight scenes were, I think, more, in some ways, more interesting, because Scott was kind of like an unstoppable murder machine in this, as he tends to be.
That's just he's been typecast.
And she often would be trading blows with the people she was fighting, so it was less clear who was gonna come out on top, and she normally would, but I found those fights more interesting.
Well, that's why I like that subway fight, because you get both of them fighting the bad guys together there. And the other thing I like in this this movie, though, I will say in terms of the choreography, is they use Scott's gymnastics training in it, which was cool. We haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Because he has a background in gymnastics and so when he's doing the stuff on the bars and flipping around and kicking guys and stuff like that, I thought, well, that's pretty cool. That makes makes this fighting feel a little bit different than what we've seen from him before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, none of his movies have really incorporated that as much. So,
and that is cool.
And this would be a movie to do it, because it is a ninja movie. So.
This is true, but yeah, we get we understand that they're in love with each other, Scott Adkins and Namiko, because they look at each other, and then she says, "We don't have time for that here in the dojo."
And he's like, "Yeah, you're right."
But
And then the villain will be looking from somewhere, being
yeah,
like, "Oh, if only she loved me." Oh,
I will say there are
uh,
no one-liners in this movie because all the dialogue is at an anime level of that. If only she loved me. If only he knew. I will prove I am
you killed
truly
my
the
sensei.
Yeah. I will prove I am the one who deserves to be in charge of this dojo. It's like it's all just that kind of.
Like
So-
90s dub anime.
It's
Yeah.
always the friend of the show, Brendan Jones, and I always love the Speed Racer thing. If only I could tell Speed I'm secretly his a long thought dead brother, but instead I have to pretend to be Racer X. Like just the idea of people just going like, how much information can I give you in as fast a thing and before we cut away before it's just that's what all the dialogue here is like. How could you? You've killed my man. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. It's exactly
Control
like
of
that,
the whatever, because the whole thing in this too is this whole movie is about a battle over the
a ninja box.
By the way, should have called this Ninja Box. This movie should be called Ninja Box. But yeah, it's a box full of ninja shit, but like really good ninja shit.
I guess. I thought it was magical, but the only person who actually performs magic in this movie is the villain. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, because it's they talk about in this box, which is the like culmination of all the stuff that represents this ninja clan, is
Sure.
These weapons they developed and this special poison that only they know how to wield, right? But then isn't the bad guy wielding it?
He is.
So what
He's
does he need
wielding
any of
just
the-
about all of the weapons that were in that box
Everything.
already.
I know. He spends the whole movie obsessed with getting this, but I'm going, you've already got everything. It's just not. He's basically he's like a hardcore collector going, no, I need the original stuff, man.
Right.
No
I need
replicas.
the mint, original mints, please.
Yeah,
I need.
But also what that does is
Please don't take it out of the box. You
Yeah.
gotta leave it in the
Oh,
box.
no.
It keeps
Ooh.
its value that
he
way.
puts the white gloves on when he goes through it. Let's just check everything to see. I know I have come across those people in the comic book world, believe it or not, the guys who get the gloves out.
That would have been a more interesting take on this villain,
Yeah.
I think, if that was his motivation. you
Well,
know?
because what it does is I don't know what the hell anybody like. I don't know what the stakes. Once again, it's like if he gets this, that sucks.
What's the worst that happens?
He
I
won't
don't know.
He won't be any deadlier. He already has everything in there. It's
Yeah.
he's already a fucking nightmare of a human being.
Yes. He already can murder like an army of people by himself. So like, I don't know what. I don't know what the mystery box is going to add to his arsenal.
I don't know because he's going to get himself thrown out. We see at the beginning though he gets himself thrown out of the dojo, expelled from this ninja school. Also can't wait for Ninja School.
Hate to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ninja School. That's my favorite anime.
Ninja School.
Yeah.
So many swishing sounds in that. But they because while doing a training fight with wooden training swords, he pulls a real sword on Scott Adkins and just tries to murder him in front of everybody.
I don't know how he thought that was going to go.
That's the thing. Yes, like it's not. We're so used to, once again, the ninja tropes of now I'm going to try to murder someone in the dojo, but usually it's like at night, secretly, I'm going to poison him or stab him or something like that. But I just in front of everybody, and then he's like, "What do you mean I'm expelled?"
The sensei even warned him beforehand.
Yeah.
He's like, if this escalates, there will be consequences. And then he's like, wait, why are you expelling me? What did I do? Yeah, he was unsympathetic. There's nothing sympathetic about this character. I don't know if they're supposed to be, but like the motivations.
Well, but beyond even sympathy, I don't even understand what this guy's thinking is. Like, I can't follow what's. By the way, the sensei in this, Togo Igawa, really good actor with a lot of stuff on his resume. Doesn't get an opportunity, and it's not his. He's also British. In real life, but he's been like Star Wars and The Last Samurai, and I literally just saw him in the movie Tetris, which I'll just shout that out. Go watch Tetris. That movie's fucking great. Really, really interesting story about the creation of the game Tetris. but
More interesting than you would think.
way more interesting than you would think. Actually, kind of a legit thriller.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating stuff. But anyway, he has nothing to do here. All of his dialogue is just like, it's the anime thing. I am the sensei. I am disappointed. You have brought dishonor to this dojo.
Right. And he didn't even as soon as the evil ninja tried to kill Scott.
That's the thing. We keep saying the evil ninja because I'm going like, his name is Masazuka. Or Masazuka.
Yeah, I can't.
Masazuka. They almost never say it though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, and when they do say it, it's really quick. So
much like everything, I felt like this whole movie was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Stop, movie. I need
you
to
look away, you miss like 5 plot points. You know, it's a brisk pace for sure.
It is, and like I said, normally that's a good thing, but here, ugh.
Yeah, no.
So yeah,
no room to breathe.
So they throw him out, and then I guess he's like, all right, well, time to be an assassin.
Yeah, gonna become a world-class assassin.
Because
I don't know.
He's also like the shadowy people he works for. None of this matters in the plot. The like oil company and the Russians and.
Yes, the oil company who is also part of the weird cult that everyone in New York is a member of. Apparently, like it's
when the coffee shop
a guy who. Yeah, exactly.
Literally, there's a scene where they go and get coffee, and that guy selling coffee is like, "Yeah, I'm part of the cult. They're here."
Yeah, he reveals his brand and then is like, "Yeah, I'm a part of this crazy cult."
But I also like that Scott Adkins is like, "Who'd you call?" He goes, "I don't know, man. They just gave me a number and somebody picks up."
So he was lying though, because he got branded, so he did know.
Yeah, because we do see
he
that.
At least could tell him where.
Because we cut from the guy being expelled, the evil ninja being expelled. We cut to all of a sudden this weird ceremony with these cloaked cult figures, and I went, "Okay, we're in another movie now. What is this?"
Yes, it seemed like the channel changed. A different movie starts playing.
Sorry, I leaned on the remote here and accidentally started a cult horror movie.
Yeah.
This is because
but like a really bad one.
Because. The laser tag arena was dead on because there is nothing in this place. No, there's nothing empty here, and they're all in hoods. You've got this guy, the cult leader guy, is just like, yes, this is the cult. And what are their belief systems? What is the mission of this cult?
The mission of the cult is to help the oil company make money. Is all I could get from it.
Yeah, that's
there's not like any.
I love that.
There's nothing deeper or grander about it.
I love the idea of raising the profits of an oil company being like a spiritual credo. Like that's a belief system. We have to make this oil company make money. That's what we've devoted our lives to.
Yes, we must travel down this pipeline we call life.
It's another one of those oil cults, you guys. Ugh. We're at it again.
God. Not one of those again.
But so yeah, there's a discussion about oil drilling or something. Who could care? But it's all happening in a dark
merger or something.
Yeah, they do say something about a merger, but it's all happening for some reason in a dark, abandoned theater.
Yeah, that's weird.
But it's all just so. Once again, because I'm going like, oh my god, merger, what's going on? And then guys start getting sliced apart, and I'm going, okay, you got me back, movie, because there is. Is this the most sword murders we've ever seen in a movie?
It must be, yeah. There's so many.
There are so many sword murders, and at one point they do just have him cut a guy's throat, and arterial spray coats the lens of the camera.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, it's this kind of
really
movie.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, that shit's great. It was just, the blood is so poorly CG
Yes.
animated that it's like, yeah, cover the screen so we really can see how bad the blood looks. Thank you.
Because I love a movie that'll just put blood on the camera. But yeah, put that fucking.
Sure.
I gotta say, this movie is one of my things. CGI blood is one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate CG blood in movies. Oh, it's the worst. You can always tell. It never seems the consistency, the color, the way it arcs through the air. Nothing about it ever seems right. And that does damage some of the enjoyment of this. Although I do like what I thought was cool was when he gets the guy who he's actually there to murder. He does this thing where he just slowly draws his katana across his throat. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Because they want this to be the most dramatic murder, that they want him to bleed out in front of the media. That was the goal.
Oh, right. We forgot to mention. So this deal that's happening in an abandoned theater, there's like a bunch of paparazzi and stuff outside the theater waiting to see how this merger went in this abandoned theater.
Completely right. Think about that, where it's like, okay, press, will you guys gather around this theater? Inside, a bunch of businessmen will decide something, then they'll come out of the theater to announce their merger. What? When does that ever happen?
That doesn't make any sense.
Don't they have offices and sky rises and stuff like that?
Yes. I've seen Succession. I know how
Yes!
this works.
I've never, not once on that show has Brian Cox gone, meet me down at the old abandoned theater, and then we'll hash out the details.
No, we're going to do it here in this boardroom.
Yeah, what are you it's so silly, but it's just like, and I also love the ADR of the reporters going, what's this? It seems he's bleeding from his neck. He must be hurt bad. Blood is literally pouring through his hands as he's holding this sliced open throat.
And these reporters are like delivering this news like they're delighted by this fact.
What is going on here?
Very good.
This is wild.
Oh, wow.
And then
now this is a story.
Oh man. This is Emmy material for us, for sure. And so then we cut back to the dojo where it's the sensei is about to go, well, I have to pick a successor. And he's really doing a like, I think we all know where this is going. You're expecting he's going to say Scott Adkins. And the evil ninja just rolls. He's already been expelled. And he's like, you got to pick me, asshole.
Yeah, this scene... I struggled with this scene because the bad ninja shows up. He's got sunglasses. He's got a leather jacket. So you know he's evil.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you got to pick me. Give me that magic ninja box. And they're like, no. He's like, okay. And then and that's the end of the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Why didn't he try to take it now? I don't understand.
I also, it's like, why... Did he think there was a scenario that it's just like, well, you've really shown some initiative. Yes, you do get the magic ninja. Like, what was gonna happen here? It's such a weird scene, and it's like, basically, then he walks off and he was just like, that was weird.
That was weird. I guess we got to hide this magic ninja box now. Good thing he gave us warning that he was coming for it.
Yes, because that's the thing where it's like, okay, Scott Adkins, you and my daughter, take the box of magic ninja stuff to New York where we have friends who will keep it safe. Because, once again, if he gets his hands on this, then,
something will happen.
That'd be,
I
mean, yeah, it's just, at a certain point, it's just...
That would be bad.
Yeah, it seems
it's already bad. He already exists. He's already killing people. What? How could it be worse?
The only negative of it is just like, then he would have stolen it from us, and that's shitty, man. Like, you shouldn't steal stuff from people. That's not nice.
Yeah.
It really pales in comparison to the a massive amounts of murder he's committing.
Yeah.
I agree he shouldn't have this. It's not his, but how about the 50 people he just killed? So Scott Adkins is like, don't worry, I'll protect this because it's the only thing I care about, because I'm still sad about my dead parents and my alcoholic abusive father, which they kind of just jam in there too.
Yeah, it's very flippant the way they do it. They're like, "So, how did you end up at a dojo?" And he's like, "Well, I'm an orphan, and my dad's an abusive alcoholic, and they both died, and then I was abandoned at this." It's just like the worst thing it'd be the worst story you've ever heard. You're like, "Oh my god, Jesus!"
It's that,
and he's just like, "Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah,
all that
I just got raised by a clan of ninjas. It's awesome."
all of that is happening when they get to New York at the professor, because they're hiding the stuff with a professor of some sort at the university.
Yeah, there's a museum in the university that the professor is the curator
And
of,
he's
I
like
think.
I take it he's then like a professor of Japanese history or
I would assume so.
mythology or
yeah.
something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But yes, that's that. At that scene, he goes like, "How did you, a white guy, end up in a ninja clan?" Funny story, And then he says all the. And it is, once again,
It's not funny.
It's not at all, but it's that further anime thing. It's like, well, I was orphaned as a child. My father was an abusive alcoholic. You just go, like, and I'm just going, we don't need any of this detail, man. Just say he was an orphan discovered by the. I'm fine.
Like maybe Scott's sensitive about it, and he doesn't want to talk about it. So
There is
like
we love
just any
we love Scott, but there is not a single level to this performance. There is not anything other than he is just cruising at I am hero guy.
Yes, exactly.
And the movie isn't asking him to do that.
It's not really his fault.
No.
Yeah.
Stupid decision on Evil Ninja's part because he gave Scott Adkins all that. I mean, how long did it take them to get to New York and get that stuff? Because now he goes and tries to steal it from the dojo.
Yeah, so this is like a month later or something. He's built up the courage a month later to do it.
I'm gonna come in 1 month. I'm gonna
understand.
come back here and steal your shit, man. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. And he has a history of doing this because he does it later in the movie as well. When he has the woman kidnapped and he's like, "I'm going to let you think about it for an hour, and then I'll be back to get the
this
information."
guy-
It's like, okay, so you're giving Scott enough time to show up and rescue her.
what
Okay, great.
what a terrible bad guy he is. He's a horrible villain.
Yeah.
And once again, not his fault. And the fight scenes with him are cool, but because he does show up
Yes.
here, and this is where we're introduced to his ninja night vision. Boop.
With his cool retractable mask. Ooh.
I do like earlier in the movie, we didn't say this, but when he was killing all those Russian businessmen, they do a thing where he opens up his mask and they push in on the scar that Scott Adkins had given him. I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured that's who this guy was. There's two ninjas in the movie.
We know.
Yeah.
We know it's the evil. Who else could it be?
And it's not enough to just do it. They have to like still even push in on, oh, not only do you know him by the eyes, but that's that scar. Man, they so he comes in here, he kills all the guys out in the. He does bisect a guy lengthwise, which I appreciate.
That's true. That's great.
I mean,
I'd love to see
once
that.
again, the CGI is shit, the CGI blood, but just the motion of cutting a guy from, head to tail there, I do enjoy. So he slices that guy, and then, we get to this. Man, I mean, this is so fucking close to Force shit when he's fighting the guy in the dark, and the guy's closing his eyes and sensing the raindrops. I'm going, we are just put lightsabers in their hands, man, at a certain point.
Well, what was really interesting about this scene is that they spend so much time building up that he can hear like what's happening in the dark, but then he gets immediately shot in the neck with a poison
I know,
dart.
that's
So
the thing.
there was no payoff for that.
And I don't understand. It seems like Scott Adkins uses that ability later in the movie, but it isn't as well set up.
We're assuming he can because it's dark later and he doesn't have dark vision.
Right.
But like they don't really make a thing out of it.
No, and they don't even shoot it the same way to like link them, which is how a movie would go, where it's
Nope.
like, oh, that's a
Nope.
skill I was taught by my master. I mean, once again, you and I have seen so many movies of my master taught me something, another pupil turned evil, killed him, and now we have to fight. The idea that this movie can't even just hit the bare bones like generic shit as a story. So yeah, so he does kill him with the darts. Terrible. Too bad.
Oh, well, he poisons him?
Yeah.
But then he also decapitates him
Yeah.
for some reason.
I don't know.
He was already going to die. I mean, it's decapitation's cool.
We love it. We
so
love to
I
see
guess
it, man.
that.
We're big fans of
Yeah.
decapitations on this show, as we've explained a lot.
But yeah, the poison was kind of unnecessary.
I also love the idea of this guy, because he finds out that obviously this stuff's not there. It's in New York. So he's like, I got to get to New York. And once again, great bad guy that he is, his move is, I'm going to go buy a plane ticket to New York. And they go, sorry, we don't have any flights. And he's like, God damn it.
Foiled again.
What am I going to do, man? Just like, I'm sorry, they've established he's this guy with all this weaponry and, connections to all this stuff, but then he's stymied by an overbooked flight.
You can't even get a private flight. Like, what the fuck, man?
I don't know. But all it is to set up, once again, just what a piece of shit he is, because then he just murders another guy to get his plane ticket.
But John, how does he murder this person? Because this is maybe the kill of the movie.
I think at least for certainly conceptually, right? Like, if not,
it was not executed well at all. It looks stupid, but
this is
conceptually it's very funny.
It's conceptual, and it's very much doing. I was thinking about Daredevil here because it very much is a Bullseye kind of scene, except it isn't as cool as anything with Bullseye. But he puts like a pin in his mouth and then spits it into the guy's neck.
Yes, I think we're led to believe that he can spit needles so fast that they can puncture skin from across like airport.
Yeah,
he can do that. Which is very interesting.
It's so dumb, but it's exactly what I want in a movie like this. Like that is exactly. Yes. Here's the thing: this movie does feel like, and we'll get to because we're doing a whole Ninja Month later this year.
Yeah.
When we get to the canon stuff, those movies are so much more gleefully dumb. The Sho Kosugi stuff is way more fun than this. But it is like this in a Sho Kosugi movie would be like a highlight of the film for me. But here I'm like, you guys kind of blew it. This is a cool idea.
Yes.
But this is very poorly executed.
It's so poorly done that it just seems kind of lame.
This scene has so much whooshing from the guy to the ninja, back to the guy, to the ticket counter. Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Yes, because again, you can't stay still. This person cannot let the camera stay still or the actor stay still.
Love that the movie attempts because he kills this guy and then takes his boarding pass and you see him put the boarding pass in like the breast pocket of his jacket, but the music's like down. Is that I'm sorry, putting a plane ticket in your pocket is just not a badass thing. It's not.
No, it is not.
This guy really isn't like. No, that's the thing is there's all this chaos playing out in front of me, but I never am going like, oh, badass. It's more just like, oh, okay. And even when it's good, it's like, oh, that was a cool kick he did there. I liked when he flipped around that. But there's no visceral enjoyment to almost anything in the movie.
No.
So he's on his way to New York now. But don't worry, our heroes have a lot of time because he has to take that long commercial flight from Tokyo to New York. So
yeah, so it'll take at least 36 hours.
But in the meantime, he calls the Russian gangster, the Russian business guys, and goes, "I need your help. I'm trying to steal a box full of magical ninja stuff. Can you send some of your cult members after these two people?" And they're like, "Sure thing, pal." Because now starts the whole Scott Adkins and the girl running around the movie from just generic bad guys with guns.
Generic bad guys who have matching outfits. That's very important.
It is. These guys are on their way to Tracksuit Mafia kind of.
Yes, 100. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
This is just the Tracksuit Mafia.
Except the Tracksuit Mafia is consciously silly.
yes, exactly. That's the point.
Because they try to shoot them in the museum, so you get slow motion glass being shattered by guns, and And this is
Sure,
all,
yeah.
once again, all of this is like competent action, if unexciting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. The choreography is better than how the choreography was filmed.
Yes. Scott Adkins
Yeah.
does get a flying punch in this scene, though, which is in my notes.
Oh, yeah. We'd love to see it.
That's the thing where it's like, this movie is terrible, but Scott Adkins just did a flying punch, so it gets some vote of confidence from me.
A flying punch, and as he's flying through the air, it's in slow motion.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
It's got to, man.
yeah,
That's
good stuff.
That's what we're
It's
looking
almost
for.
like a Superman punch.
It's
or
very
something.
Superman. He does a lot. I mean, this movie doesn't have magic per se, but there's a lot. That's the thing, is like, I kind of wish they had leaned in and just done magic, because there's a lot of super powered shit in this movie.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of silly things. It's like, okay, well, that's just not physically possible, but whatever.
But yeah, that's the thing where it's like, the movie, I wish the movie had just gone all in on being a cartoon. As I was saying earlier, that would have been a lot more.
Made it better.
That would have been a lot more fun. Because it is basically, and I will say, looking at a lot of the negative reviews from IMDb, are people going like, I like ninjas. This isn't realistic, though.
You know what else isn't realistic? Every ninja movie that's ever been made.
Yeah, ninjas, just in general, are one of the most fundamentally misunderstood things by pop culture.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
They
And their dichotomy with like samurai, like
Right.
that is also completely 100% misunderstood.
It's and at this point, it's almost just we're just consciously perpetuating that, right? Like, it's just like, now we just go
Yes.
like, yeah,
Yes.
ninjas may have been real in some capacity, but we have just completely made up our own pop culture idea of them, and that is what everything will be from now on.
It's like, yeah, it's that vague Eastern mysticism kind of aspect to it, It's
And that's a little
as
bit
opposed
why
to a bunch of people who got upset with the samurai for being assholes, and so then just used sabotage and subterfuge,
Right.
to,
Right. And that's also why it's always a little bit like the white guy who becomes part of it is, I'm not saying it's great from a stand, but it is always a little bit like, well, it's not really a thing anyway, so I don't really feel like we're necessarily like infringing on a culture as much, because it's not really, it's all a fucking cartoon anyway.
Yeah, there's not a dojo of like secret ninjas. Although I did find it interesting that this dojo, which looks like a old school traditional Japanese dojo,
Yes.
does have a cordless phone somewhere. That
Yeah.
I did find that
was
very funny.
That was very... Hello.
There's no other modern technology
Yeah.
other than the cordless phone.
Well, I've got to be able to talk to people on the go, let's be honest.
I guess so, yeah.
Hello, Ninja Dojo. How may I direct your call? So yeah, they also, is this, oh yes, this is also when they jump out of this building. This is the first of two separate Scott Adkins flipping over a car scenes.
Yes, he does do it twice, and both times I'm like, yeah.
I'm just like, that is what, I'm like, that's what I need. If you just want to make Scott Adkins an action figure in your movie, I'm here for it, man.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, the man is intensely watchable. There's no question about that.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically the whole middle section of the movie is they just go everywhere Scott Adkins and this woman go, people try to murder them. Because we had the coffee shop scene, and I don't even want to put thought to how many innocent people are just mowed down in this process.
Yep. Yeah, because they attempt a drive-by at one point.
You get that scene where they're trapped in the road and like they're pinned into like a triangle of cars that have all collided into each other.
Oh yeah.
That was
weird.
That was weird. It's once again, it's like everything in this movie. Like, oh, that's a cool idea for an action scene, but I don't follow how it happened or why it happened. Or you think about,
that's when they like slid under the semi truck.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But like, what
cool concept? But
what motivated that? I think that's a big thing when we talk about what a good action movie does. It is sort of like you follow the like progression of this to this to this to this is action, and that's boring to people to think about because they're like, I just want cool action. It's like, yeah, but the action's only cool if you do that thinking. I mean,
Yes.
I love interviews, and you and I both love watching interviews with stunt people and fight choreographers and stuff like that. And they talk about the extensive way the really good ones get in there. You know, when you're making something like a Marvel movie, those are every single beat of those is meticulously planned. There's a reason it takes forever to make like a John Wick movie because it's like, no, because every single thing has to line up and equal the math problem that is an action scene. It's not very exciting to talk about, but it's, I mean, it is for us because we're huge nerds for this shit, but it is sort of that thing, you know, it's like, I mean, they talk about, when you see Jackie Chan do those amazing things, it's like, yeah, that's because they spent 3 months conceiving that thing. You can't just go out and do that. And I feel like that's the thing here where it's like, wouldn't it be cool if they got under a truck? It's like, why does that happen? I don't know, because it like slams into a thing. Whatever, you know?
They have these ideas for cool like things to happen, but then they're just like, how do we get there? I don't know. It just happens.
The most anime moment to me in terms of like the dialogue we're talking about is after they skitter out from under that truck, Scott Adkins looks over and he goes, "Subway!" And then he runs down the subway. And then the bad guys are like, "Where's he going?" And then one of the bad guys goes, "Wait, Subway!" Like, they both have to acknowledge the Subway.
But then they go into a Subway sandwich shop and are distracted for a good 45 minutes.
Wait a minute.
The movie does slow down when they go and meet Jared Fogle and Subway.
Oh, man. Yeah, a cameo that has not aged well. Should not have gone all in on Jared Fogle, man.
Yeah, probably not, huh?
I think Subway is still under they should not have gone all in on Jared Fogle bandwagon.
Probably not.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I mean, in their defense, who the hell would have known? That was, of all the things. But yeah, I just love the idea. It's like, no, the movie has to go like, Subway! Oh, for the love of God, movie!
You don't have to do that.
But it does.
We know what a subway is.
It does lead to this sick fight on the subway, which is pretty goddamn cool.
Yes. Yeah, I really like this sequence. They definitely spent money to have people on the sets. You know, a lot of these low
$10 million worth apparently.
Apparently, yeah. A lot of these will have empty, sets that
or there's
people
like
fight in, and that does happen a little bit. But
there's or there'll be like two guys who run away right at the beginning of it, which also drives me up the wall.
Exactly. Whereas like the whole first half of this fight, there's a bunch of people on this train,
which is really cool.
Exactly.
You know, of course, it's not fair, but I will say, John Wick Chapter 2 has a better subway fight that's full of people, and it's awesome.
That's true. Yeah,
but I'm saying like
it's hard not to compare it to that, you know,
because that scene when he and Common fight on that subway, and it really is. They're like, once again, it's built into like we have to fight around people and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But one of the things I do like in this movie is because all these bad guys have guns, you get a lot of cool disarmings, which I do like. There's a lot of Scott Adkins grabbing guns out from people and stuff like that, which is one of the few times that they're doing what I'm talking about, where it is like, if that guy has a gun, I need to get his gun from him.
Yes. Yeah. This is an obstacle I have to overcome. How will I do that?
And that stuff is good. And we get a bar flip thing in here from Scott. That's pretty good, where he comes around. This I don't think is physically possible though, because he does like a spin around a bar fully, so he kicks a guy in the back of his head.
Yes, that would have no force behind it.
You would lose so much in that midair twist.
Yes. It looked cool.
I did watch. I can't remember where it was, but I mean, I always watch these things on YouTube. But I watched an actual close quarters combat expert reviewing John Wick scenes, and a lot of it was stuff like that, where he goes, well, there was a way less dramatic but more effective way to. And he's like, why is he on the ground so much? He shouldn't be on the ground. He goes, it looks really cool, but why are you doing that? You know, and that is certainly the movie thing. And I've even heard Scott Adkins talk about that, where he goes like, yeah, in an actual fight, I'm probably not going to bust out a scorpion kick anytime soon. There's probably just no call for it. Most fighting, if you're actually trying to fight, you're not thinking about this is the cool flourish I can add to a kick. So that stuff, that's what we want out of martial arts. I mean, we know because if you go watch, sometimes real martial arts competitions are boring or happen really fast because you're like, oh, right, it's not a whole trading. It's the same thing with boxing, right? I love boxing movies, but whenever I've watched real boxing, I'm like, oh, they never land punches because you would die if you got hit as many times as you do in a movie. They always land every punch in a boxing movie.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think the same thing when I watch like UFC or something like that. You know, it's
you go like, man, a lot
short bursts of stuff, and then it's just over in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, or like a lot of UFC, I'm like, God, there's a lot of leg trapping in here. It's a lot
of leg trapping.
This is not as. I mean, if you're a UFC fan, that's awesome, man. I have a lot of respect for the fighters themselves and what they're doing, but I don't find it particularly thrilling to watch. Because it's not like a movie. But yeah, it is just So we get that. That's good, but they do get arrested here. Because that will set them.
This is the dumbest subplot of the film. Maybe is the whole sequence of them getting arrested and being at the police station.
Yeah,
I guess the raid on the police station is kind of interesting.
It's cool. We're back to night vision goggles. They really love that night vision, and a thing that I can't say I have a lot of experience with real night vision, because in my life, why would I? But in movies, it always has that high-pitched whine.
Yeah. It's that like what's that game franchise? The stealth one.
Splinter Cell.
Sam Fisher.
Splinter Cell, yeah.
Splinter Cell, yeah. It's always that. I don't know if that's the origin of it, but
I don't. But I feel like
high pitched whine as it turns on is.
But I feel I don't think it is the origin, because I feel like even like Silence of the Lambs, which has the whole night vision climax in that movie, it has that in there. There's something about that. And maybe that comes from a real thing, but I love that movies always need sounds. It's like computers make sounds they never do in real life, because it's just like, oh, if it just is a look, that's not selling it.
Yeah, we need something else. We need and also there's like, we don't know if night vision actually has that, but according to like movie logic, that you need to put that in there. Well, like we are expecting it now. We're trained to expect it from it.
It's always that thing too, like when I hear people talk about, well, there'd be no sound in space. You wouldn't hear these explosions. And then somebody will actually try to do it and then realize, oh, this is fucking boring to watch. We got to put those explosion sounds in there. Because you're like, yeah, man, it's still a movie. Like it's,
I always thought that like Firefly did that, handled that pretty well.
They did, but also that has a lot. I mean, that doesn't have nearly the amount of space battles that like a Star Trek or a Star Wars has. I think you can do it. I think Battlestar Galactica messed around with it too. I think something J.J. Abrams was very conscious of in his Star Trek movies. He picks and chooses moments to emphasize for effect the silence of space. There's lots of stuff you can do, but it is always like those are those comments where I just go like, okay, nerd, we know, like we're all accepting this. But
it doesn't matter. It so is not the point of the film. They're not trying to make a realistic depiction of what it's like to be in space, because it's terrible out there, by the way.
Oh, and by the way, I mean, what I fucking adore is Gravity, man. If you want to see that movie, rules.
That movie's great.
That is an amazing film, and is utterly terrifying. I almost had. I mean, like I really I came out of that movie shaken. Because it was so intense. Here's a movie.
Oh, cool! A new fear, a new phobia that has been unlocked.
I will say that is one of the most physically uncomfortable experiences in the theater. Like, was watching that movie, because I was just like, oh my god, there's never any release from this tension.
No.
Let's talk about it. Let's get back to this movie where a movie has no tension basically. Because he comes in, he starts attacking people. A lot of my notes are always just like how people get killed and stuff like that. You do get Scott Adkins. Thrill as Scott Adkins tries to escape handcuffs.
Yeah, a lot of these movies have him like locked to something or like lifting a car he would not be able to. This table that he's handcuffed to bolted to the ground, and so this entire sequence he's just trying to get this table.
You know, it would have been cooler, and we've liked in other movies. What if he was just handcuffed and had to fight the guy while handcuffed?
I would love that.
What was that?
Would be great.
What was that one? It was one of the
Tiger Claw.
Yeah, remember the guy's
Tiger
hands
Claw's
are tied,
different,
and it was cool as hell, man. And it was so much simpler.
Yes.
I think that's sometimes the thing too. Is like you're overthinking this movie, man. Just put a guy in handcuffs and have him fight. That's cool.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
They also make a big heroic point of him saving the detective guy. It's like, yeah, but he fails to save the other 25 people massacred.
True. That is true.
Of course.
And the detective is not really like the detective shows up later too, and but like to what end? I don't know.
I got it.
There's no point to saving him.
The only thing I thought was I wanted them to just lean into the anime thing where it's like when he saved him, I just wanted the detective to go, "You have begrudgingly earned my respect." Because that's all it is he's like, I don't know about you. Then he does this, and you're like, okay, by the end of this movie, he will back Scott Adkins somehow.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately for you, I'm the only cop that's not on the criminal take.
Fortunately for you, and also fortunately, I'm the only cop.
I'm the only honest cop in the city.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And he's the only cop who speaks or has anything. And by the way, you want to talk about a generic white guy name? The guy who plays the detective is named Todd Jensen. Hi there, Todd Jensen.
Todd Jensen?
Todd Jensen.
That's like a fake white person name that I would come up with for.
Yeah. I will say we will definitely be seeing this guy again based on the fact that he only acts in action shelf movies. It seems like pretty much. He's just
acts.
Yeah. Let me back that up. He only appears in action shelf movies.
There we go.
He is. He's in every Delta Force movie at some point. He's in a lot of Chuck Norris films and a lot of this kind of stuff. And he is. That adds up because he is as bland and boring as any of the people we see in these movies. So, and also it doesn't like when he came back. I'm like, to what end? And then at the very end of the movie, he's just like, "Hey, the streets are running red with blood. Hundreds are dead. You two crazy kids, get out of here. I'll clean this up."
I'll do the paperwork. Don't worry.
Literally, he sees Scott Adkins decapitate a man in front of him, and he's just like, "Yeah, run along, you scamp."
What's really sad is that this guy's IMDb. This is the movie he's most known for, and he's barely in this movie.
That is sad.
Yeah.
And he's has enjoyed a 30+ year acting career, according to his biography, and yet this is the height of it. He's in one episode of Burn Notice. That seems to be the biggest thing he's done. And that's cool, man. Burn Notice is awesome, but
it's a great show.
Yeah. Burn Notice, by the way, total action shelf television show, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. That is pure gold. That was. I wish somebody would make something like that again. Something that harkens back to those like Stephen Canal shows of the 80s. When it was all about blowing stuff up and driving cars real fast. The other thing, at a certain point too, you also are going, and I'm sure you were doing this as well. I'm just like, okay, so eventually Scott Adkins is going to put on this ninja gear, right?
Of course. Yeah. Yes.
Because we do get this whole face-off on top of the roof of the police station between the ninja guy. And that's okay.
Sure.
But this is also where he busts out his wingsuit. We got to talk about this wingsuit.
John, oh my God. Well, all of the stuff, this whole sequence was maybe the worst. Like, all of it was the worst CG I'd ever seen in any movie. Yeah. Because the cityscape was like... how would you describe the cityscape? It reminded me of a bit.
Yeah.
The rooftop sequence in the room, but
well, I will say
it was worse.
Guys, we don't always check in on the bingo card, but go ahead and put this movie takes place in New York, right? Shot in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Entirely filmed in Bulgaria. And that is definitely what it is. It's a we threw up a green screen. It definitely has that room vibe to it. It definitely has that, where it's just like all we've done is put up a green screen and put something on it. We haven't done any work to like tweak it or anything like that. The other thing that really fucking destroys this now, and I know you have, we've talked about this, going to be a Last to Be Curious. The newest Batman movie has this same wingsuit sequence in it basically, and it fucking rules.
Oh, does it?
There's a scene where he has to escape the Gotham City police station, and he goes up to the top of the roof, flies out a wingsuit, and then soars over Gotham. And
gotcha. So
it's
this
beautifully
movie,
done.
So the Batman ripped off
Ninja is what we're saying, yeah. But I saw him do this, and I went, oh, this is gonna look poor in comparison to that. And like they do a cool thing where like they literally have like a GoPro strapped to Pattinson's face as he's and the wind is going by him and stuff. Yeah.
It seems way cooler than this.
It's very cool.
The CG wingsuit is bad.
And that's exactly
laughably bad.
This is the thing where a movie like Avengement or even Accident Man is going like, don't try to do this. It's going to look bad.
It's going to look bad. It's going to look cheap. It's going to totally bring people out of the experience because you're just like, whoa, okay, that's happening now. All right.
Wingsuit. And so he grabs the girl and flies off. And then I like Scott Adkins like, well, I don't have a wingsuit. But fuck it, I'm just going to try jumping off this roof anyway.
Yes, and he does.
He does do that job. He collides into a billboard across the street. And then finally, after all of this, he's like, maybe I should just put on the ninja stuff and fight this guy.
It's weird how he never thought about that until this point, but
yeah.
He just decides. There's no like great moment, or there's not like a thing where like, well, technically I was never given, permission from Sensei to put it. There's no. He's just like, I guess I'll put it on.
Because of course the guy has the girl captured, and he's like, I'll give you her if you give me that. And then I'm going like, okay, I know what's going to happen. And it is what happened, where it's like, you want this? Well, I'm wearing it, asshole. And once again, what about it is interesting? It's just a different design of ninja armor.
Yeah, than what the other guy has.
This isn't Iron Man. It's not like the suit has abilities.
No, I mean, it could. That would have been something. That would maybe... Yeah, this guy's
got a
do
wingsuit.
Anything.
This guy has stuff with gadgets and night vision and wingsuits. If anything, I actually think this old ninja armor is way worse than what this guy's rocking.
I would assume so, because the magic ninja armor does... John, can we just okay, so the villain during the final fight...
Yeah, because we get a final fight in a construction site. Also, I think I think that's on the bingo card too. Is like industrial setting for fight scene. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so a couple of things happen. One, the villain's sword is glowing as he's slashing.
Yeah,
which is weird.
That came out of nowhere.
They don't explain that.
I have no idea what that was about.
Because again, they don't mention any magic existing. World. No, it just all of a sudden in this last scene starts to exist.
I spent a lot of the movie going, is this gonna go down a magic route? I don't know. It felt like it could have gone either way, and the answer, as we were saying earlier, is it kind of does, but not.
It kind of does, but they don't really establish it very well. So halfway through this fight scene, the villain literally teleports.
Yeah.
And Scott is not surprised by this. Instead, he anticipates.
That's when he's using his force abilities or whatever to know the guy will appear behind him so he can stab him.
But again, mysticism was not established at all in this world.
No, you can't just drop teleportation into a movie.
It would make sense if the magic mystical ninja suit gave you teleportation powers. That would make you really powerful. Sure. But this guy can already do it somehow.
Yeah.
So what is
what does he need?
Adding anything?
And we talked about, the big thing is the thing they go on about earlier is this special poison that was created by this ninja clan, but this guy already has it, and he already also has the antidote for it, because the whole battle here is that he poisons the girl, and then they're fighting for the antidote vial, that smashes, and you're like, oh no, she's gonna die. But then Scott Adkins remembers earlier in the movie, his sensei told him that this sword not only takes lives, it can heal them, and he goes, oh wait, and he opens up a little compartment, and there's the antidote vial. So this,
I will say this is slightly better than what I thought they were gonna do, which was use the sword spirit magic to heal her.
100%. I once the guy teleported, I knew I was certain that was going to happen.
We're just throwing all the rules out the window at this point. Like,
and also,
goes.
while the guy's teleporting, Scott Adkins like closes his eyes, and there's this like magic shimmering effect around Scott Adkins where he can sense that he's going to be behind him.
Yes.
And yes, swords are glowing. Dude, I don't know what was happening. But no, he's just like, oh, wait, cool. Secret compartment. My girlfriend's going to live. But also, oh, shit, that guy's still... I thought this was so needlessly brutal. He impaled the bad guy, but he's like, wait, he's still alive, and he's bleeding to death. I better go over and cut his fucking head off.
Yep.
And this is what the cop sees, and he's just like, all right, I'll give you this one. You wacky.
You earned it.
You crazy bastard. You know what? You saved my life. You get one free murder.
I think that's how it works,
I
John.
think that is
sure
how it works. Yeah. So he lets...
Pretty sure that's what quid pro quo means.
He lets him go, and then we establish, I guess, that Scott Adkins runs the dojo now because he and the woman stare pleasantly at a group of students practicing martial arts. And
it ends where it starts, John.
It all comes back
cyclical, just like Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. It's all
what
cyclical.
If you take away anything from this, it is this movie is as good as Parasite. Oh man, this is a dumb fucking movie. Really stupid. Really stupid. But listen, some people might think more of it than we did. Although, I mean, once again, I did not hate it, but I will say this this goes to pretty standard action shelf defense here from our fans.
Sure.
Out there.
What? It's not supposed to be Shakespeare, is what I'm assuming. Or something.
Oh, you might be dead on with that. This comes to us from IMDb user Alexander Waldrus, and the review is simply titled Ninja. Personally, don't get into a movie and complain about it after, all right? Let's leave the complaints to the bitter wives, all right? In my belief, I'm adding the all rights, but that's the tone here for sure. In my belief, for a low budget,
they did say the bitter wives.
They did. Oh yeah, let's personally, I don't get into a movie and complain about it after. Let's leave the complaints to the bitter wives. In my belief,
should have said ex-wives.
Yeah, this is divorced dad 100%, right? Yeah. In my belief, for a low-budget movie, it was excellent. If you happen to disagree, name 6 low-budget movies to deliver such beautiful choreography despite budget-induced flaws. To criticize this is foolish. I knew there was a high risk for disappointment, but it delivered 100% of what it's supposed to be. If you want a detailed plot with crafty dialogue, then read some Shakespeare, or go and watch Fried Green Tomatoes. Weird, very random drama to bring into this for no reason, because this film is not for you, okay? Action junkies are welcome. All in all, if you approach this movie to see some action, you're going to receive it. If you approach this movie to see some ninja action, it's there. There could be more of a ninja presence in the film, or there couldn't be more of a ninja presence in the film. In closing, the movie moves forward. There aren't any unnecessary pauses in the flow of the story. Some elements of the film are lacking, and others have its own strengths and weaknesses. The main plot is plausible, and then just in quotes, he just adds bitterness. 10 out of 10 stars.
Bitterness. Okay.
Linda.
Fucking Linda, my ex-wife. Ugh. God. All she does is complain about the movies I watch.
Oh, God. She specifically mentioned that in our divorce. I just like, dude, it's one of those things where it's
unhinged.
Like, why these guys get so upset? It's just like, so you liked a dumb ninja movie, man. Who cares? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No, man, I'll tell you.
This is my identity, John. This movie. I am this movie. This movie is me.
But the other thing is, like, I agree. There's some cool stuff in this movie, but there are so many other better, even stupid ninja movies that are still just as dumb, but are way more fun.
I mean, we've mentioned numerous movies this episode that were cheaper than this, but looked better. Mm-hmm. So when he said that, I'm just like, no, I can literally, like, you've already listed like 5 movies that are cheaper than this, but look.
I was gonna say, man, like, dude, if Accident Man would blow this guy's mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How about somebody who did have their mind blown by this movie? Maybe though is our old friend from Amazon.com. He's not as angry about it though. So it's time once again to check in with our favorite Amazon.com reviewer for another segment of The Winning Opinion. Here it is, Bruce Winning's review of Ninja, and I think just right from the name of it, I can't disagree. His review is titled "Lots of Sword Action."
Yeah.
I like 16:9 video. I like the action and violence. For a while, there was only sword fighting, but the shooting came along later. And as promised, there was martial arts type fighting. 5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Man. I just like, he's like, oh, maybe it's only swords. No, wait, there's guns too. Oh, and martial arts type fighting is my new favorite. This seems to be fighting of a martial arts type in this movie.
A martial arts variety. Interesting.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars from Bruce, though. He loved it.
Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce, man. Oh, he's having so much fun watching his ninja movie. All right. Well, Listman, with that, there is a ninja sequel. So what do we, let's see. We're going to fire up our handy dandy action movie title generator. What do we want to come up with here? Do we want to come up with, how about this? Just a better ninja-based movie for Scott Adkins. All right? It doesn't have to be...
It's still called Ninja because the title's so generic.
Yeah,
it's Ninja colon,
right.
Whatever.
But it's just a new movie where he plays a ninja. It doesn't have anything to do with this specifically.
Sounds good.
All right. So it is called, here we go. I'm going to fire this thing up here. And it is called, oh God. Ninja, Misfortune of Fortune. Misfortune of Fortune.
Of Fortune.
Misfortune of...
Okay.
That's one of the most interesting ones we've had spit out to us. Misfortune of Fortune.
Yeah.
Misfortune of Fortune. Okay. I think the idea is there's someone named Fortune, right? And this is the Misfortune of Fortune. That's the play, right? This guy named Fortune meets some misfortune.
Yes. Okay. So the question is this Fortune the titular character? Are they the villain? Are they simply the inciting event?
Like
because Scott is a ninja. We know
Scott is a ninja, and Scott
right?
maybe doesn't even have a name. He's just ninja in it.
Yeah, he is just ninja.
And he is, let's see here. Maybe in it. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. All right. Here's the thing. I think I've got something. It's kind of the same thing. Scott wasn't always a ninja. He used to be a guy, right? And he had some maybe a romance or something with this rich guy's daughter. That guy's Fortune, and so then now he's devoted himself to the ninja code. But when Fortune is killed or something, right? He has to choose personal vengeance over his, commitment to the ninja code.
Right, exactly. He abandons his principles for vengeance.
Right.
And there'll, of course, be a scene where his sensei, you're throwing out,
his sensei,
very similar to what happens in this movie.
His sensei, by the way, in this, played by Sho Kosugi, right?
Of course, it would have to be.
Absolutely,
exactly.
Gotta have him.
Yeah.
And Eric Roberts is Fortune in the flashback because he's already dead, but we get flashback scenes.
Yes.
And so we get
Eric Fortune. His last name is Fortune.
Eric Fortune. Eric, so we get Eric Roberts in
Rick Fortune. What do you think? Rick Fortune.
Rick Fortune's pretty good.
Yeah.
Rick Fortune.
Johnny Fortune.
Oh, wait, maybe that's his scumbag brother, also played by Eric Roberts.
Yes.
Donnie
dual
Fortune,
roles.
who ends up being the one who betrayed Rick Fortune.
Of course, yes. That does need to happen. And we do need the ninja to fight another ninja, right?
Yeah. Donnie Fortune has hired another ninja who abandoned the clan for his own personal gain, right? He's working as an assassin.
So we are kind of remixing
We are kind of remixing
this movie.
because as we've talked about, this movie is also just a remix of every ninja story
It's all
ever.
right, exactly. Yes.
But it's like while Scott too has abandoned the ninja clan, he's done it for personal justice. This guy has done it to sell his murderous ways to the highest bidder. And who is that? Who?
Exactly.
What martial arts star is he fighting in this?
Great question. So
Who's
we've already
our-
got Shokasugi.
Shokasugi is the old mentor. So we need somebody more in the. What about like a Hiroyuki Sanada?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah,
totally.
man. They could definitely throw down. That could be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That'd
be awesome.
So there you go, man. That sounds way better than I'm sure whatever. What's the Ninja 2 has a weird time. What did I say it was? It's like tears from Shadow of a Tear.
I think it's Shadow of a Tear, John.
Is it Shadow of a Tear?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Here's the
I'm
thing.
just saying
It
that
could
'cause
be
it could go either
because
way.
who the hell could ever I have no idea what that is. But that's that we've talked about 2009 Ninja. Well, listen, next week on the show, all good things must come to an end, and so we wrap up. Adkins,
Say it isn't
Abrams.
so, John.
Well, I will say watching this made me go, it's a little bit easier to let this go. But although, as we were saying, this still does do better than a lot of other action stuff. But next week, it's
not boring, yeah.
Next week, it is a clash of legends as Scott Adkins faces off against Dolph Lundgren.
Ooh.
That's right,
Ooh.
man.
How's Dolph going to get out of this one?
How's Dolph going to get out of this one? Indeed. Next week's movie is called Castle Falls. Castle Falls, starring and directed by Dolph Lundgren. This is another Lundgren directorial effort. It's him and Scott Adkins. And Listman, as always, I will ask, would you like the tagline to this movie?
Sure.
Get in, get the cash, get out alive.
Okay, so that's giving me the impression like it's going to be a heist film.
I think it's in the heist
interesting.
genre. I will say the poster does have Dolph Lundgren with aviator shades and holding a Desert Eagle handgun. So
excellent. Okay.
I don't know much about the plot other than it's heisty. I don't know if one of them is the bad guy or this is a two-hander or what the deal with this is. This is available across streaming services. It's on a number of them, so it's easy to track down. And we're jumping from 2009 to 2021, so we're leaping much further into Scott's career. A more recent film. So we'll have our thoughts on Castle Falls next week on the Action Shelf, but that's going to do it for this week's episode. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Till next week, get yourself some action.
The Action Show. The Action Show.